What a total time capsule, guys. I don't know if you had half as much fun watching me ride it as I just did ripping it around, but what a flashback to 1973. Much simpler time. And this would be the bike to have if you were in your prime back then. 2-stroke 175cc rotary induction Enduro here. So you can ride it off-road, you can ride it on the street, you can set enough power for a passenger. It's got a luggage rack so you can put your gear bag on the back there, or a cooler full of your favorite beverage and some Snickers bars, and head to the sand pits and ride all day long. You can ride it to the street, to the pits, down the rail trail, and most of them were ridden into the ground. To find one 53 years later with the original paint, the original turn signals, all the original cycle parts is pretty much unheard of. This one is a spectacular original survivor with 2,624 miles on it, and it's been upgraded with the period correct hooker header. You can see that I love my hooker headers. Actually, Christy Steiger, my honey, she did those reproduction graphics because they weren't available. The pipe was restored, sandblasted, painted, the chrome was cleaned, all new mounting hardware. And I've got an extensive work order of what we did to it to bring it back to its really super clean original condition here. Let me read off of it so I don't miss anything. But oh, I almost forgot to tell you, this is a one-owner bike. We have the original title from 1974. Guy owned the bike the entire life, only sold it because he was aging out. Just been fully serviced and tuned. Runs phenomenal, needs nothing. Everything works on it. The headlight, the high beam, the low beam, the horn, the turn signals, the rear brake light, everything works beautifully. We went right through it. It's got a brand new battery, new spark plug. We pulled the flywheel and cleaned the ignition. We basically took the bike completely down. The forks came off, the front wheel came off, the rear wheel came off, the seat came off, the tank came off, the exhaust came off. It was down to the engine and frame, and we went through everything on the bike. The fuel tank was given the full metal rescue treatment, where we vapor blast the inside of the tank and then clean it out, and then use metal rescue to remove any rust residue. So it wasn't Caswell coated, didn't need it, which was a huge plus. And that's the original candy blue paint job on the bike. It does need some touch-up paint, which is available through Colorite. You can get aerosol or touch-up. We just didn't have the time to do it, so bike's ready to go. And we did put new graphics on the tank. Once we restored the inside of it, those are new reproduction graphics, a new fuel petcock, new fuel lines. The carburetor was removed. The carburetor's actually, this is a side rotary induction on here, which is one of the reasons they have so much horsepower. It was a very efficient design. The carburetor's inside here, so the whole side of the engine came off. The carb was completely rebuilt. The original pistons were in excellent condition with 2,600 miles, so it was just decarbonized, and new spark plug installed, perfect compression, and it's nice and tight, original engine. Carburetor was rebuilt, the airbox was cleaned, a new uni air filter was installed. We added VP94 non-ethanol fuel, removed the oil pump cover to bleed and check the adjustment, and filled the oil tank with new, fresh injection oil. The compression test is a perfect 170 PSI. It's exactly what it should have been when it came out of the box, indicating it was stored properly and well cared for. New gear oil, new drain plug washer. We also removed the flywheel to adjust the clutch at the push rod, and installed a complete new clutch with clutch plates, fibers, and steel plates and springs. The handlebars are new reproduction chrome handlebars, new grips, reproduction grips of the original style, new front brake lever, new clutch lever, lubed all the pivot points, cleaned and lubed the cables. We removed the throttle housing to clean and lube that also, installed a brand new tachometer cable. The original paint was buffed and polished front and back. While the seat was off, we treated it to a new seat cover. The turn signal wiring needed a little bit of work, so that was done. So getting all the lights going good. While the wheels were off, they were given a full cosmetic restoration. They were vapor blasted. The spokes were vapor blasted and cleaned. The chrome was cleaned and polished, in a brand new Duro, period correct Enduro reproduction tire, just like the original, was installed with a new tube. When the forks are off, those were completely rebuilt with fresh 10-weight fork oil, new fork boots, and the lowers were originally clear coated. That was all stripped, and they were freshly polished, which is a lot of work. It's like 4 hours to do a set of forks the right way. The hub, as you can see, was also clear coat was removed, and that was professionally polished, so it looks really nice. The fork boots are new. The countershaft sprocket is new. It has a new RK gold chain, and I'll go over the full complement of detail work that we did on the bike. Before I do that, I'll read you off some of the parts that were used. We did replace the carburetor. The bike had been sitting for years, and the original carburetor had gas in it, and it kind of etched the inside of the carb. So we replaced it with a good clean carb that we bought, proper Kawasaki F7 carb off of eBay, original carburetor reproduction. That was $112 for the carb. A new RK 428. RK is a good brand. 428 gold chain. New NGK spark plug. We use Spectra oil, all the best oils and components you can get. Bellray 2-stroke oil. Brand new top of the line Yuasa battery. New sprocket. New Duro front Enduro tire. New Duro rear Enduro tire and tubes and rim strips. New rear wheel bearings. New seat cover. You can see the seat was professionally recovered. New foot. We replaced the original foot pegs with some foot pegs we purchased for it. New fork boots. New throttle, spring, and seat. A complete carb rebuild kit. And then the clutches were rebuilt with new clutch plates and springs. A new oil pump check valve. A new tachometer cable. New handlebars. New grips. New brakes lever. I know I'm reading some of the same stuff as I mentioned before, but I don't want to miss anything. The fuels, VP fuel, new petcock. Oh, a new ignition switch. I didn't mention that. New rear sprocket bolts. We originally put it together with original bolts, and I looked at it and I says, "Wiz, we gotta do better, brother." So I just wanted it to look nice and fresh. So new sprocket bolts, little things like the fuel tank rubbers that had dried out that keep the tank from making a rattling noise. The fuel tank rubbers were replaced. A lot of people overlook that. So the headlight needed to be replaced. The bulb was out, so we bought a new headlight. That was $60 for the headlight. So anything it needed, we did, and it runs beautifully. Then I went to the detail shop where they painted the frame rails, sanded and painted the frame rails, prepped and painted the entire engine, the original correct color, painted the foot pegs, the mounts, painted the chain guard, the exhaust, the hooker header exhaust was sandblasted and repainted, completely restored. The engine guard was painted. The front forks were professionally polished. The rear rack was polished. The fuel tank, all the painted surface were polished. The wheels were vapor blasted front and rear. We polished the spokes, polished the gear shifter, pedal shifter. We polished the starter, polished the rear shocks, cleaned and polished the shocks. And the front and back brake drums were both sanded and polished, so they have a nice shiny aluminum finish to them. Whereas the original, if you look at any 50-year-old motorcycle, that the clear coat is gonna, unless you do that, you can see the one on this side was done. The front wheel, both sides were done, and it's hours and hours and hours of labor to do all these little details. It is original paint, this is the first 70s Cowie that we've sold in the last 2 years that we didn't do a full repaint on. If you look at the paint on this side, it looks, in the paint on the fenders, the patina is excellent. It's original factory shade, and a lot of collectors prefer the original paint. If you want it professionally repainted, we could have Mill Street Auto do that for you. Ed's been doing paint work for us for a long time, and he'll lay down a world-class paint job on this thing for probably under $1,000 with parts and labor. But if you want, I would leave it alone. I wouldn't do it. I would leave the original paint on there and get the touch up from Color Right, because the more rare these get, the original paint bikes always bring more. In fact, it'll eliminate some collectors from even wanting the bike if it was repainted. A lot of guys just want original paint classics, so I'd be foolish to paint it. I would just have the fuel tank touched up with Color Right, and you'll be golden. So quite a bit of effort went into the bike. The total labor was 66.5 hours of labor. And the parts were just under $1,400. So the total parts and the parts and labor was $11,161. That's 66.5 hours labor at $150 an hour is $99.75, and the parts, so just over $11,000. So we definitely put more into it than it's worth, and every time I do a video like this is why you don't see other shops doing this. It's a labor of love. We're saving a piece of moto history, also employing over 20 people full-time that do this work here. So you could never buy one of these barn fresh, low mile bike and send it to any local shop and get this kind of work done. At least not here in the Northeast. I don't know any other shops that do this kind of work reliably that are available. So we did it. It's my contribution to moto history. You know, if we're lucky, we'll get to live 100 years on this earth, and hopefully leave the world a little bit better. I'm doing it one bike at a time. Thanks for watching, and God bless America.